Good morning. Alan here with our regular Friday morning drop-in meditation class. Hope you're well. Hope you're well rested. On that subject, well rested, I've been reading a book by His Holiness the Dalai Lama called The Joy of Living and Dying in Peace. And he's talking about the importance of having a well-rested body and mind and what it means. So, quote, when we consult a doctor, most of us are told to rest. But what does it mean to rest? It means more than simply lying in bed. Rest means remaining mentally relaxed. Whether the doctor is able to spell it out to us or not, when he advises us to rest, he means that we should be mentally relaxed and free from anxiety, in addition to avoiding physical activity. Then we'll get real rest. Mental relaxation is a result of having a positive mental attitude and feelings. If our minds are invaded by negative attitudes and we brood on ill will, mental relaxation is impossible. Therefore, even in relation to our physical health, when we're told to rest, there is a sense in which we are being advised to be a warm-hearted person, because this is the very best way to avoid anxiety. So it's for reasons such as these that whenever the great Indian saint and scholar Atisha met anyone, he would ask, "Do you have a good mind?" In the same way that we nowadays say, how are you? He was not really asking whether the person he was talking to was warm-hearted, but how he or she was and how or she had been faring that day. But his way of asking the question has a deeper meaning. I don't think Atisha addressed people in this way merely from a religious point of view. He was asking, are you well rested? In the way that we might ask, did you sleep well? Because rest is the fruit of a positive mind. The fruit of a positive mind. Right, so as usual, we'll do our breathing meditation for the first half of the session. It's a good way of resting the body, speech, and its mind in its natural state. Just really just letting go of the busyness of the body, the talky chattiness of the speech, and then the discursive mind, the distracted discursive mind, letting all that go. So basically we'll follow the same routine with breath, starting with breath meditation, focusing on the breathing, as always. The variation we'll have today will be from breath meditation, extending it to all sensory perceptions. So sensory perceptions includes the breath, because that's the movement of the body with the breath, but it also covers any touch sensation. So you might be able to feel the air on the skin. You feel the body sitting on the floor of the chair, that sensory feeling. You might be able to feel this clothes touching the skin. So anything that's to do with the sense of touch is sensory awareness. So that's the second option if you want to move from the breath to sensory. The last one will be mental awareness, where we let go of all sensory external perceptions and just focus on what's happening in the mind, rather than stopping thoughts or trying to calm the thoughts. We actually invite the thoughts in and watch them without hooking onto them, without being involved. We can just allow the thoughts come in, just like somebody walking in the room and then leaving. We just watch them passing through. Clouds moving across the sky, they're there, and we let them go. So that's the third focus option, object of meditation, if you want to vary the practice from the breath. All right, so as usual, we'll start with the body and motivation, and then we'll move into our breathing meditation. So get comfortable, start. So now time to bring our attention inwards. Be aware of what's happening in our body, what's happening in our mind. Time to let go of the busy outside world, the busy morning we might have had. Have a sense that for this 1 hour, we'll leave outside that everyday life, everyday cares, sense of having to do, having to be. Time to let that go. If we have to, we can come back to it later. But for now, we're going to take care of our minds, restore our minds, replenish our minds, relax our minds. Our motivation is not just to benefit ourselves from our practice, but benefit those around us. Calm, peaceful mind will benefit those we have contact with. And ultimately our motivation is to benefit beings in the greatest possible way by ourselves becoming liberated, fully enlightened beings, to be able to lead others into that state. It's the Vajrayana motivation. Now we come back into the body, checking, are we comfortable, evenly balanced on the floor or the chair? Sitting, lying, whatever's the most comfortable. Eyes can be closed, half open or fully open. Our spine should be reasonably straight, shoulders relaxed. Checking the neck and the head comfortably sitting on the shoulders, the face and the eye muscles relaxed and soft. Use the out breath to let go any tension we find in the body. Just breathing it out. Feeling the body being gently pulled into the earth by gravity, surrendering to gravity, surrendering to Mother Earth. Nothing to hold on to. Gradually giving more attention to the breath, how it enters and leaves the body without any control. Just watch. You can focus anywhere that's comfortable on the breath, the full body movement of the breath. Focusing just on the abdomen, rising and falling. Focusing at the nostrils, where the cool air enters the body, the warm air leaves the body. When we find that comfortable focus, we rest our mind on the breath. It's always there, and now we're watching, noticing. If we're focusing on the breath, the mind can only focus on one thing at a time. So the busyness of the mind will naturally subdue. Just staying with the physical breath. This is awareness or mindfulness of the breath. Noticing the breath. That's the mindfulness aspect of the practice. The other part of the mind is being alert. Introspection, they call that. For when the mind is not on the breath, when it moves and wanders. Being alert for that, like a guard. When you notice that's happening, let go of that distraction. Gently come back to the breath. Notice, release the distraction, return to the breath. As the mind calms, we notice more of the breath. The full flow of the in-breath, the full flow of the out-breath, perhaps the gap between the breath. Whatever's happening with the breath, we're there. No good breath, no bad breath, just the neutral breath. Checking where we are, still with the breath. Now we have the option of staying with the breath, or gently expanding the object from the breath to all sensory feelings of the body, including the breath, but also any aches and pains in the body, any tightness, the air on the skin of the body, the clothings on the skin of the body. The contact of the body with the chair or the floor. Giving full attention to our sensory feelings, the sense of touch. Just noticing, not judging. Fully in the body, fully with the sense of touch, sensory perception of touch. Thoughts may come and go, but we don't follow them. Staying in the body, watching the feelings, the touch feelings. And now, last option, moving from sensory awareness to mental consciousness, what's happening in the mind. Letting go all external sensory perception. Perhaps opening the eyes and allowing thoughts to enter the mind, the stage of the mind, and watch. Not involvement with the thoughts. They enter the mind, they leave the mind, like clouds in the sky. Mental consciousness. Thoughts, feelings, images, memories, emotions. Whatever comes up, we see, we watch, we're aware. We let go, we don't involve. Mental consciousness. Remember to come back to the breath if there's any uneasiness, unsteadiness. Just relax, have a rest, maybe a drink of something, stretch. So, second practice I've chosen, this is the analytical meditation, where we think of a particular topic of the Buddhist teachings and analyze and contemplate and integrate that with the mind, immerse ourselves in these teachings that they call accumulating merit. It's one of the 7 limbs in the 7 limb prayers that we sometimes say in the beginning of our practice. These are things that prepare and soften the mind, get it ready for either meditation or listening to teachings, contemplation. So they're prostrations, making offerings, confessing negativities, rejoicing, requesting teachings from the teacher, dedicating, and requesting the teacher to remain. So they're the best. 4th limb of 7 limb practice is rejoicing. This is a very important practice. We should do it each day as many times as possible. It's the easiest way to accumulate merit. By doing this practice, we can accumulate merit as infinite as tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and then millions of dollars. When we rejoice, the merit increases greatly. It's said in the teachings, that's compounding interest. It's said in the teachings that among the virtues or good karmas, the best one is to practice. Think that luck is something that comes from its own side. That's completely wrong. It's not that luck suddenly comes from outside without our having created it. Luck comes from our mind. If we experience good luck, it's luck that we have created with our mind. If we're going to experience luck, we have to create it. So that's actual practice of rejoicing. There's 2 things we rejoice in. One is the good fortune of others, when we see others having success. Could be worldly success, having great wealth, success in their career, business, long life. All these are a result of having created fantastically good causes. So becomes jealousy. There can be a tendency when we see others experiencing great luck and fortune that we can feel slightly deprived ourselves, and the very tight feeling of jealousy arises, which is a very uncomfortable feeling. The rejoice immediately benefits, lightens, opens up that. We see others creating the causes, doing good deeds like helping others, being kind and compassionate, making offering, doing meditation practice, Dharma practice. So they could be ordinary beings, and then holy beings like great masters, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, our teachers, Lama Zopa, Lama Nishi, all the ordained beings that we see who are practicing the teachings sincerely, creating unbelievers. This is great practice, accumulates merit, counters jealousy, and we can do it anytime. Anytime. You don't have to be sitting on the cushion. You can just, as soon as we hear some good news about friends or strangers, anything where people have got what they want. Lama Zopa had this rather interesting example of if we see a stretched limo and people living it up inside a very luxurious car with everything except what he said. Oh, how wonderful. Interesting example, because often, certainly in my experience, if I see the stretched limb, I can think, what extravagance, how over the top. So the skillful way, when we see people having enjoyments, the everyday enjoyments, thinking, well, this is what they want. They've got, they deserve it. How dare they get that? And me, I've got nothing. So this is a very skillful way of uplifting the mind and sowing the seeds of positive karma. What His Holiness says, a healthy mind, creating a beneficial mind, thinking of compassion, love. So we can do it any time, and the classic story is the beggar who was rejoicing with a sense of deprivation. We actually review the fact that we have a very good situation. We've got the human body, and in a very auspicious place, we've got our basic food, shelter, and so on. So from there we go to rejoicing in others' good fortune and others' virtuous actions. Very, very upbeat, positive, uplifting practice. Okay, so get comfortable. We'll start. Coming into the calm state of mind from our breathing practice, subduing the mind and settling the mind in its natural state. We start our practice of rejoicing by rejoicing in our own good fortune, our own situation, looking at our situation, seeing the positive aspects of it. We are now in a human body, brain, in a very comfortable situation, comfortable country. Our basic bodily needs are met with food, shelter, clothing. We have all our faculties, good health, leisure time. We also have a tendency to be interested in Dharma practice, in the Buddha's teachings, and cultivating the mind, looking beyond material world. Must have been due to our past positive actions in past lives. Positive Dharma actions made connections with teachers in the past. That's why we've got the interest in the teachings and the teachers and cultivating our mind at the moment, right now. How amazing, rejoicing in our good fortune, created by past positive actions for body, speech, and mind. Appreciating our wonderful human life, our rare human life. from our own good situation, we can now look at previous good actions, having good experiences, success financially, success in their careers, thinking of specific examples, perhaps amongst our friends. Successful. How amazing, how wonderful. Rejoicing in that. They've created the causes for that. They've got what they want. They're happy. And extending not just from our loved ones and friends, but strangers. We read in the media of public figures having great success, billionaires in business, gaining great wealth, all did not happen by pure chance. They created the causes. How amazing. We rejoice. They've got what they want. If there's any tendency to jealousy or envy, notice that. Push past it. Also including our difficult people, enemies, people we don't like. Thinking examples could be personal friends or personal enemies in the media, public political figures that are hard to like. Thinking of their material success. They've created the causes. Everything from the stretch limo, the beautiful apartment, the billions of dollars in the bank. Give that rejoicing attitude. Engender that. Encourage that. They're happy. They've got what they want. So next, the rejoicing in the good deeds of others, the people who are actually creating the causes of success. Starting with those who are working with others, being generous with their time, particularly now with the COVID-19 virus, those who are risking their lives, sacrificing their health, their lives to work with others who are sick. Unbelievable dedication, compassion. Doctors, nurses, volunteers. Practicing kindness to others. So many examples. Risking their lives. Sometimes sacrificing their lives. Those working with the elderly, disadvantaged, the homeless. When we see this, think how wonderful, we rejoice. What merit they're accumulating, what good they're doing in the world. Not just working with the coronavirus, but all difficult situations, working in war-torn areas, where there's natural disasters, droughts, famines, floods, fires. Those working with animals, saving them from cruelty, destruction. How wonderful, what extraordinary compassion, loving kindness they're showing. Selflessness. So then moving from those doing good in the mundane world to those holy beings, holy and ordinary beings who are actually studying the Dharma, practicing, subduing their minds on the path to enlightenment or already enlightened, thinking of the great living examples like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, doing unimaginable actions to benefit other beings constantly. Our gurus, teachers, dedicating their lives to learning the Dharma, practicing the Dharma, teaching the Dharma, teaching others how to end their suffering forever, becoming enlightened, the full path to enlightenment, available to us through these beings, only through these beings, these wonderful, incredible, holy beings. Not only the holy beings, but ordinary beings, our fellow meditators, our spiritual brothers and sisters who are attending centers, doing practices, studying the Dharma, studying teachings, rejoicing in their merits when they do retreats, make offerings, maybe doing practices we can't do, but we rejoice that they are able to do them, making offerings to teachers, holy beings, centers, dedicating their time to running centers, thinking of the examples. Those who sacrifice their health by teaching, working at centres, dedicating their lives to others, spreading the Dharma, following the Guru's wishes. How wonderful, we rejoice. We rejoice in the merits of all holy and ordinary beings in their actions, body, speech and mind, benefiting others. So now we can dedicate any positive merit we've accumulated from today's practices, all the practice we've done in the past we'll do in the future, and all the actions, positive actions of ordinary and holy beings, past, present, future, dedicate towards development of peace in our minds, peace in the minds of all sentient beings, peace in the world. Dedicate towards our progress along the path to full enlightenment, liberation, development of compassion, wisdom, and like the Buddha himself, obtain full enlightenment, so that then we can be of maximum benefit to all other beings. Just reading Lama Zopa's dedication, recommended for this time of the coronavirus. However many sick, sentient beings there are, may they quickly be freed from all sickness. May all the sickness without exception of transmigrating beings never occur again. And due to the merits of the 3 times collected by me, the numberless Buddhas and numberless sentient beings, may all wars, sickness, famine, torture, poverty, and economic problems in the world, and all dangers of earth, water, fire, and wind be pacified immediately. May perfect peace and happiness prevail in everyone's hearts and lives. May Buddha Dharma last for a long time. May the sentient beings in this world meet the Buddha Dharma and achieve enlightenment as quickly as possible. Dedicated. That's the practice this week. Great to have you here. Thanks for being there. Have a great day, great week, and we'll be back again next week, same time. Take care and stay well.